starting with U.S.-Israel relations amid ongoing tensions in the occupied territories. President Donald Trump has made his position clear on the West Bank, telling Israel's Channel N12 in a recent interview, "I'm against annexation. We don't need to mess with the West Bank." He emphasized that the U.S. has enough things to think about now without adding complications from annexation moves. This comes right as Israel's Security Cabinet approved new measures aimed at strengthening control over the occupied West Bank, including easing land purchases for Jewish settlers and expanding Israeli administrative powers in the area, steps widely seen as deepening de facto annexation and drawing international criticism for potentially undermining the Oslo Accords. It's unclear if Trump will directly raise these concerns in his current high-level talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but the comments signal potential friction between Washington and Jerusalem on settlement expansion and Palestinian territory stability. The spotlight is intensifying on Iran, where military posturing is ramping up dramatically. President Trump announced he's actively considering deploying a second aircraft carrier strike group to the region, near Iran's coast, stating in interviews that "we have an armada that is heading there, and another one might be going." This would significantly bolster U.S. naval presence in the Persian Gulf, with potential candidates like the USS George H.W. Bush or USS George Washington ready for rapid redeployment if ordered. The move comes as Tehran continues to reject U.S. ultimatums on its ballistic missile program and nuclear activities, refusing what it calls excessive demands and insisting on focusing talks solely on the nuclear file. In a direct response during a major speech marking Iran's Islamic Revolution, President Pezeshkian reaffirmed Tehran's stance. Iran is ready to allow IAEA inspectors full access to its nuclear facilities for verification purposes. He stressed repeatedly that "we are not seeking to acquire nuclear weapons," and that Tehran has stated this position time and again, offering any kind of verification to prove it. This comes after months of IAEA access restrictions following prior U.S. and Israeli strikes on underground sites, with inspectors still awaiting entry to key locations like Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan. Pezeshkian's offer is framed as a step toward de-escalation amid indirect U.S.-Iran talks resuming in mediators like Oman. Adding fuel to the buildup, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirmed on Fox News that the United States is deploying additional military forces and assets toward Iran. He described the approach as maximum pressure, that Iran understands in terms of brute force, whether financial or military, noting that President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth are positioning resources as options are weighed, potentially including another round of strikes if diplomacy stalls. On the sanctions front, bipartisan momentum is building in Congress. A new bill, the Decreasing Russian Oil Profits (DROP Act), has been introduced by Representative Michael McCaul and colleagues, proposing targeted sanctions on any foreign individuals or entities involved in purchasing, importing, or facilitating transactions with Russian crude oil and petroleum products. The legislation aims to further choke off Moscow's primary revenue stream, funding its war efforts, hitting facilitators in the global energy trade, and closing loopholes that allow Russian oil to flow despite existing restrictions. Protests erupted in Washington, D.C., coinciding exactly with Netanyahu's U.S. visit, as anti-Israel and pro-Palestine demonstrators took to the streets. Independent journalist Brendan Gutenschwager captured footage of the marches, with crowds voicing strong opposition amid the high-stakes White House discussions, highlighting persistent domestic and international divisions over the Gaza conflict and Israeli policies. In Australia, Israeli President Isaac Herzog's four-day visit ended on a tense note. As he wrapped up events in Melbourne, "Death to Herzog" graffiti appeared overnight on a wall at the University of Melbourne, accompanied by anti-Israel symbols, including an inverted triangle associated with Hamas. The message was swiftly condemned, removed by authorities, and referred to police, but it underscored the large-scale pro-Palestine rallies that shadowed Herzog's trip from Sydney to Canberra to Melbourne, with dozens arrested in clashes. Finally, back in Israel, a stark reminder of internal divisions on military service. Top Haredi Rabbi Dov Lando, spiritual leader of Degel Torah, declared unequivocally, whether authorities agree or not, no student of ours will join the IDF. He reiterated that the place of Torah scholars remains exclusively in yeshivas and kollels, rejecting any form of enlistment as the government pushes forward with Haredi draft legislation amid ongoing debates over national service obligations.